Welcome to Eliminating Caregiver Chaos, the podcast where we stop pretending caregiving is just about tasks and start dealing with the real weight you're carrying, the emotional one. I'm DJ Castilleja, and I help family caregivers stop drowning in guilt, resentment, and burnout by teaching them how to actually process their emotions instead of just pushing them down and hoping for the best. Now, before we dive in, I want you to know this podcast is designed specifically for you, the caregiver on the go. Whether you're driving to yet another doctor's appointment, folding laundry, prepping meals, or stealing a few minutes in your car before you walk back into the chaos, I've got you. You don't need to sit down with a notebook or be in the perfect headspace. Just listen. Let this sink in while you're doing what you need to do. Today, we are wrapping up the Caregiver Emotional Mastery series, and I want to go out with something that ties everything we have covered together. And it goes deeper on the second method for emptying the cup. We introduced method 1, the 10-minute emotional release, which includes moving your body afterward to complete the emotional cycle. Today, we go all the way into method 2, debriefing with a safe, trusted other person. And I believe this is the missing piece for most caregivers. So let's dive in. Let me start today by revisiting something we named very early in this series, something I called the coup de grâce of caregiver burnout, the final blow. Do you remember what it was? The thing that more than any single task or emotion pushes caregivers over the edge? That's right, aloneness. Not physical aloneness. You might have people all around you, a house full of family, friends who check in, a medical team involved in your loved one's care, and yet still feel completely alone in what you are carrying. You can be in a room full of people and still feel alone, because we're not talking about proximity, we're talking about connection with other people. Because aloneness and caregiving is not about who is in the room. It's about whether anyone in that room truly understands the weight you are holding. Not you as in caregivers in general, but you personally. And here's the brutal truth that most caregivers never hear anyone say out loud. Method 1, the 10-minute emotional release, as powerful as it is, does not fix aloneness. You can set that timer every single night. You can cry in your car. You can express what you are feeling in the privacy of your bedroom. You can do the movement afterward, and then climb into bed feeling completely alone in what you are carrying. Because aloneness is not a technique problem. Aloneness is a connection problem, and it requires a connection solution. That solution is method 2, debriefing with a safe person. And I want you to be careful with that word, debriefing, because that is not venting. It is not dumping everything on someone who did not ask for it. It is not a complaint session. Debriefing is a specific, intentional act of sharing what you are carrying with another person who has the capacity to receive it. Hear me again on this. Who has the capacity to receive it. What good would it do if you were debriefing to someone that had their own full cup? You're both hurting. And the difference between debriefing and venting is enormous. Venting is unstructured and often unfocused. It can leave you more worked up than when you started. Debriefing is intentional. It starts with naming a specific emotion. It happens with a person who has been given permission to simply listen, not to fix, not to advise, not to minimize, and it ends with you feeling lighter when you started. That is the test. If you feel lighter afterward, it was debriefing. If you feel heavier, something in the process was missed. So here's why this is the most powerful method. Here's something I've seen in 25 years of walking alongside caregivers. The ones who find their way through the hardest seasons, the ones who come out the other side of caregiving without losing themselves in the process, are almost never the ones who had the most information. They are not the ones who bought the most books or read the most books or attended the most seminars. They are the ones who had the best support. Someone in their corner who understood the emotional terrain of caregiving and could walk alongside with them through it. Information alone does not create lasting change. Support does. And here's the science behind why that is true, because we've talked about chemistry throughout this series, and this is no different. When you are debriefing with someone who is truly receiving what you are sharing, when you are genuinely being heard without being fixed or minimized, your nervous system receives a chemical signal of safety. Oxytocin is released, the same connection hormone that gives you warmth and closeness. Your body begins to come down from its chronic stress response, not because the problem was solved, but because you are no longer alone with it. The pressure in the cup drops, not because you process the emotion in isolation, but because another human being witnessed it with you. That is why connection is medicine and why aloneness is so dangerous. It is not just emotional, it is physiological. What a safe debriefing person looks like. Not everyone can play this role. In fact, most of the people in your life, as much as they love you, probably cannot. Not because they are bad people, but because most people were never taught how to sit with someone else's raw emotion without trying to fix it or minimize it or redirect it. Think about the responses you've probably received when you tried to open up. Well, at least your loved one's still here. You're so strong, you'll get through this. Have you tried taking a break? This is all well-meaning, but it also completely is missing what you actually need in that moment, which is not advice, not a silver lining, just someone to say, I hear you. That is real. You are not in this alone. A safe debriefing person is someone who can do exactly that. They listen more than they talk. They do not rush to fix what you are feeling. They do not try to talk you out of it or logic you away from it. They can sit in discomfort with you without needing to make it go away. They keep what you share private, and you leave the conversation feeling lighter, not heavier. That is the non-negotiable test. Lighter, not heavier. Before you share something significant with someone, start small. Test the waters. Share something with lower stakes and notice how they respond. Their response to something small will tell you everything you need to know about whether it is safe to share something bigger. And one thing that changes almost every difficult conversation before it even begins, say this first. I don't need you to fix this, I just need you to listen. That's it, one sentence. It removes the pressure most people feel to perform helpfulness. It gives them a clear role, and it dramatically increases the chance that what follows actually helps you. So, who can be your safe person? Your safe person does not have to be a lifelong best friend. It does not have to be a spouse or a sibling. It can be anyone in your life who meets the criteria we just described, who can receive what you are carrying without making it heavier. It might be a friend you have not leaned on yet because you did not want to be a burden. It might be a faith leader or a counselor or a coach. It might be someone in a support group, someone who understands this territory because they are walking it themselves. Sometimes the most powerful debriefing conversations happen between two people who have never met in person, but who understand each other's experience completely because they are living the same thing. The goal is not a perfect relationship. The goal is one person in one conversation who can receive what you are carrying without making it worse. Start there. One person, one conversation, and notice what shifts. And if you genuinely cannot think of anyone in your life right now who fits that description, I want you to hear this as clearly as possible. That is not a permanent condition. That is a starting point. A support group, whether in your community or online, is one of the most natural places to find a safe person because everyone in that room already understands the weight without needing an explanation. Our own caregiver coaching membership at Eliminating Caregiver Chaos is built around exactly this kind of connection. coaching sessions, and support groups where caregivers can finally be real about what they are carrying with people who truly get it. If you want to learn more, visit us at eliminatingcaregiverchaos.com. But whatever path you take, please take one because you were never meant to do this alone. How to use this method. Once you have identified your safe person, here's how to actually use this method effectively. Tell them what you need before you start. This is the step most caregivers skip, and it causes most of the disconnect in these conversations. Before you share anything, say it plainly. I don't need you to fix this. I just need you to listen. That one sentence changes everything about what follows. Name the emotion specifically, the same way you would in the 10-minute practice. I'm scared. I'm exhausted. I'm so angry, I don't know what to do with it. Naming it out loud to another person carries a different weight than naming it to yourself. It is harder. It is also more healing. Let them respond and notice how they respond. A safe person will reflect back what they heard or simply sit with you in it. If they pivot to advice, gently redirect them. I appreciate that, but right now I just need you to hear me. A truly safe person will adjust. And when it's over, say thank you. Not as a formality, but as a genuine acknowledgement that they showed up for you. That reinforces the relationship and makes it more likely they will know how to show up for you again. Here is what I want you to leave this series understanding. You now have two methods. Method 1 gives you a daily solo practice, a structured, intentional way to release what is building up inside before it finds its own uncontrolled way out. Method 2 gives you what no solo practice can ever fully provide, the experience of being seen, the experience of being witnessed, of being known, of having someone sit with you in the wait and say, I see you, I hear you, you are not alone in this. Both methods matter. Both are necessary. Neither one replaces the other. Used together consistently over time, they begin to do what no bubble bath or gym membership or piece of advice could ever do. They actually empty the cup. Not once, not temporarily, but as an ongoing practice that keeps pace with the caregiving that keeps pouring into your cup. The cup is always going to keep filling. That is the reality of caregiving. But you now have somewhere to put what fills it. You have tools, you have practices, and you have a clearer understanding of what you actually need and why you deserve to have it. Here's what I want to leave you in this series knowing. There are things you have been carrying that you are ready to put down. The exhaustion that sleep never fixes, the guilt that follows you everywhere, the 2 a.m. mind that won't stop spinning, the loneliness of feeling like nobody around you truly gets it, the resentment that builds up quietly when you are the only one showing up, and the sense that you are running on empty with no end in sight. You do not have to keep carrying it all alone. You were never meant to. I want to say something before I let you go. Not just as a way to close out this episode, but as a way to close out this entire series. You showed up week after week, episode after episode, and you kept listening. You did the work of looking honestly at what has been happening inside of you. And that is not a small thing. Most caregivers never do it. They just keep going until something breaks. You chose differently, and that matters more than you know. The tools are yours now. Method 1, the 10-minute emotional release with movement built into the practice. And Method 2, debriefing with a safe person regularly so that the aloneness finally has an answer. These are not concepts, they are practices. And like any practice, they work when you work them, consistently over time, without giving up because the first attempt felt awkward or unfamiliar. We were never taught how to do this, so of course it's going to feel awkward. This is what we have built at Eliminating Caregiver Chaos, and I would love you to be a part of it. Visit us at eliminatingcaregiverchaos.com to learn more about our coaching membership and what is waiting for you on the other side of carrying this alone. Because here's what I know after 25 years of walking alongside caregivers in the hardest seasons of their lives. The ones who thrive are not the ones who had the most information. They are the ones who finally stopped doing it alone. You have been doing this alone for too long, and that is not weakness. That is what happens when you are a giver who was never taught that you are allowed to receive also. You are allowed to receive support. You are allowed to stop doing this alone. The chaos doesn't have to be permanent. We're eliminating it together. Thank you for being here in this series. Stay tuned for our next series. Take care of yourself out there, and I will talk to you soon.